Jungkook reveals something shocking. Jimin's uneasy reaction raises alarming questions. The reunion that millions of fans had long awaited took a turn that no one could have predicted. In what was supposed to be a moment of celebration, Jungkook uttered a statement so brief yet so striking that it shook the entire fan base to its core. Why did a single sentence from him instantly dominate international headlines? And why did Jimin's visible unease make the situation even more controversial? Could this reunion, which was meant to symbolize harmony and nostalgia, instead reveal hidden fractures that the group has long tried to keep from public view? The incident did not unfold in the grandeur of a stadium concert or in the secrecy of a closed-door meeting. It happened in the simplest of moments, casually caught by a camera, only to spread with lightning speed across social media platforms. Jungkook, often perceived as measured and careful in his public words, suddenly spoke in a tone that many interpreted as honest and unfiltered. The effect was instantaneous. His words were clipped, translated, and circulated in multiple languages, trending within hours. Yet the spotlight did not remain solely on him. The camera, unrelenting and merciless, turned to Jimn, whose expression of visible discomfort was enough to ignite speculation that something far deeper was occurring behind the carefully crafted image of unity. Why did Jimn look so unsettled at the very moment Jungkook spoke? That question now dominates the discourse among fans, analysts, and entertainment media alike. Some argue that Jimin's nervous demeanor was coincidental, the result of being caught in an awkward frame. But others believe his reaction was too genuine, too revealing, to be dismissed as chance. His slight hesitation, the fleeting blankness in his eyes, and the hesitant smile that followed, all of it has been dissected frame by frame, creating a narrative of unease that cannot easily be erased. This was not the kind of reunion moment anyone expected. For years, BTS has been celebrated not only as a musical powerhouse, but as a symbol of unity and brotherhood, overcoming personal struggles while presenting an unshakable front to the world. Yet Jungkook's words, brief but heavy with implication, seemed to pierce that image. He mentioned relationships and how they can change over time, a sentiment that sounded harmless on its own. But when placed against the backdrop of a reunion heralded as a symbol of everlasting bond, those words carried an entirely different weight. They felt almost like an admission, or worse, a warning. Jimin's reaction only compounded the ambiguity. His anxious demeanor, captured so clearly, did not align with the tone of joy expected in such a reunion. For fans accustomed to seeing him radiate warmth and reassurance, the sudden crack in composure was jarring. Was it fear of what Jungkook had revealed? Was it concern over how the public would interpret the moment? Or was it something deeper, a private truth reflected briefly and unwillingly in his expression? Observers in Seoul's entertainment industry have not dismissed the incident as trivial. Instead, many have described it as a crack in the facade. In a culture where idols are trained to maintain controlled images, the spontaneous nature of Jungkook's statement and Jimin's unrehearsed reaction stood out as anomalies. Analysts of pop culture point to this moment as a reminder of the fragile balance between public persona and private reality. When Jungkook chose honesty over caution, the narrative built over years of discipline began to fracture. And once the camera caught Jimin's discomfort, that fracture widened into a fissure. The impact on the fandom was immediate and divisive. One side argued that Jungkook's words were a deliberate signal, a subtle acknowledgement that relationships within the group may not be as harmonious as the public believes. Another side dismissed the speculation, claiming that fans were reading too much into an isolated moment. Yet, even among those who tried to downplay it, the unease was undeniable. Why did the words resonate so strongly if they were truly insignificant? Why did Jimin's reaction so convincingly mirror anxiety if there was nothing to be anxious about? The power of BTS lies not only in their music, but in the narrative of unity and resilience that surrounds them. Every glance, every phrase, every gesture has symbolic value. And in this case, both the words and the expression were impossible to separate. The combination of Jungkook's statement and Jimin's unease created a narrative too compelling to ignore, that behind the smiles and synchronized performances lies a reality that is shifting, perhaps even unraveling. This tension is not entirely new. In previous interviews, members have alluded to the burdens of expectation and the strain of balancing personal identity with group unity. Jungkook once admitted the pressure sometimes left him feeling depressed, while Jimn acknowledged that communication within the group was not always easy. These confessions, though often brushed aside at the time, now resurface in the wake of this incident, painting a more complex picture of their internal dynamics. What adds weight to the controversy is the silence that followed. No immediate explanation was offered, no contextualization was provided, leaving the interpretation entirely in the hands of the public. In the absence of clarity, rumors thrive. Silence, in this case, becomes an answer of its own, an answer that suggests something is indeed being hidden. Communication experts argue that such silence, while possibly strategic, only fuels speculation further, creating an uncontrollable narrative spiral. Could Jungkook's words have been an unconscious slip, a simple reflection on the passage of time, with no hidden meaning? Possibly. Could Jimin's expression have been an unfortunate coincidence, magnified by fan analysis? Certainly. But the timing of it all, the reunion, the global spotlight, the emotional expectations, ensures that this moment cannot be dismissed so easily. Instead, it has become a focal point for questioning the very narrative of BTS's unbreakable unity. The consequences of this speculation extend far beyond fan communities. Entertainment industry analysts warn that such cracks in the image of harmony could affect brand deals, future projects, and the overall perception of BTS as a cohesive unit. The group has long been marketed not only as talented individuals, but as a brotherhood inseparable by fame or circumstance. If that narrative begins to crumble, the implications are enormous, not only for BTS, but for the agency and the industry that rely heavily on that image. In retrospect, Jungkook himself once admitted in an older interview that he found it difficult to hide his emotions, preferring honesty even when it was uncomfortable. Those words now take on renewed significance, connecting directly to the controversy that unfolded during the reunion. Perhaps he did not intend to spark speculation, but in choosing authenticity, he inevitably challenged the carefully maintained facade. The question now remains unanswered. Did Jungkook reveal more than he intended, and did Jimin's reaction confirm it? Or are we witnessing the magnification of a trivial moment into a storm of misinterpretation? The truth may never be fully disclosed, but the impact is undeniable. What should have been a moment of celebration has instead become a turning point, a moment that exposes the fragility of perfection and the inevitability of change. For millions of fans and observers, the reunion no longer symbolizes only joy. It has become a puzzle, one that raises more questions than answers, and one that will continue to reverberate in the global conversation surrounding BTS.